mean, he brought him all the way back. He was hitting guys, driving the ball down the field, and more than that, the veteran presence, the calm, the never giving up on the game, and then completing those passes when I and others said he was cooked a long time ago. Chase Claypool does this at one point, by the way. Starts celebrating instead of clocking the ball. Like, what is he thinking about? Anyway, Mike Tomlin maybe is... Look at this. Roethlisberger, game on the line. That's a strike. That's perfect. Oh, you got to catch that and hang on to that. Could have tied the game right there if they would have made the 2-point conversion. I mean, that's money on the line. Roethlisberger saving the day. He can't catch the ball too, guys. Here's Mike Tomlin after the loss.
We were JV again tonight, and I'm talking about up front on both sides. We lost the battle in the line of scrimmages, and that's football. We make no excuse. It is what it is. We got to be better than we were. We'll turn over every stone to do that. We got a long week coming up between this and our next one. We'll make good use of that time and assess not only what we're doing, but who we're doing with.
I got tackled near the hash, did my little first down point, and went to hand the ball to the ref. He had just got there. So even if I got right up and looked for him, he wasn't there. So he ran down the field to come get the ball, and the ball got knocked out of my hands. That's what costed us time. But I definitely do have to be better.
I'm joined by NFL insider Dan Graziano and analysts Rob Ninkovich and Harry Douglas. All right. Wow. Like Nick, let's start with you there.
Yeah.
What Claypool did or didn't do, and then afterwards what he said, what do you make of it?
Obviously, poor football IQ, because if you're a receiver, it is pounded into your head, especially in 2 minutes, when the game is on the line. You take the football and you place it, or you give it to the referee directly, because as a defender, we are taught to lay on the receiver, to don't let them up quickly, maybe knock the ball out of their hands. So the football IQ and the lack of the awareness in this situation is what's shocking. And then also the me factor of, well, I did my little first down point. Yeah, you're losing. You're behind right now, and the other team could just point at the scoreboard and say, well, look, we're winning right now. So I think the whole thing kind of just reeks of selfish football.
Harry, you played the position.
Yeah, this just in. Chase Claypool, nobody gives a damn about your finger pointing. That's just in right now. Yeah. No one cares. And it's embarrassing that your offensive lineman has to come try to grab the football from you to put it down. That it's embarrassing. It's selfish. Like Nick just said, the football IQ is not there, because I know coaches preach this time and time again. I've even seen Larry Fitzgerald run up, go put that ball right there on the hash so you don't even have to give it to the referee to save time, right? This young generation, they're starting to bother me. They're starting to bother me.
You just played. What do you mean this young generation?
Seriously. And thank God I'm out.
But in every generation, aren't there knuckleheads and wise heads in every generation, right?
But my thing is, that's costing this team football games.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't the reason they were down 29-0, right? I mean, there were other people at fault. It's easy to focus on Claypool and the knucklehead thing he did in the clutch, but there were a lot of other problems with that team last. I mean, look, for the first half, it looked like they were only using 9 guys on defense. Like Dalvin Cook with a bad shoulder is just tearing through them. So yes,
bad shoulder, good legs. Gross.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I mean, the spotlight goes on Claypool because of what he did and when he did it. But there are a lot of other issues with this team.
Are they going to make the playoffs given those issues?
No, I don't think they are. I just don't think they're good enough. And the rest of the schedule is it's Titans, Chiefs, Browns, Ravens. I mean, that's not a 4-0 run for probably anybody, let alone a team that's obviously just operating on the margins. I mean, the 2-point conversion by the Ravens last week, and then you have a team that hasn't won in over a month. So, yeah, I think they're a little short.
It was interesting to me, and we talked about this on the radio this morning on KJM. When Coach says, I'm going to leave no stone unturned, and then he's asked, what about the coaching staff? Now you're not even asking him about him, and he's a guy who say, hey, we have to be better. He said the coaches don't tackle. He's okay with his staff. This is not a coaching issue. This is a player issue, says Mike Tomlin. All right, meantime, while the Cowboys were busy dropping 2 of their last 3 games, the Washington football team has been steady closing the gap in the NFC East, winning 4 straight. Do the Cowboys hear the footsteps? Well, here's Mike McCarthy on getting the win this Sunday.
I'm excited about what's in front of us because we're going to win this game. I'm confident in that, and just the prep that's going into it. But more importantly, we're going to we want to improve too along the way. So I think that's all part about what the challenge of December football gives you.
Well, Washington coach Ron Rivera was asked about those comments on NBC Washington and had this to say. He's trying to convince his team. I think that's another mistake because he's made it about him and what he said and not about his players anymore. It's about what he said, and I think that's a big mistake. That's why, to me, you don't do those things. What you do is focus in, get ready, and play football. We show up on Sunday, and we'll see what happens. Oh, Rob, I mean, look, Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl, and Ron Rivera hasn't, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, Ron Rivera was brought in to change the culture in Washington, and he's done it, it seems to me. Mike McCarthy was brought in to look like a head football coach who won't stand up to Jerry Jones, it seems to me. What do you make of those comments and the response?
Ron Rivera is an ex-football player, right? Yep. So you know what he did? I guarantee he put that thing out with a bulletin board now, but I don't have them anymore maybe, but he put that thing right up for everyone to see. Like, look at what they think right now. And I would say that McCarthy, the second he said that, he probably regretted it. He was probably like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, because after it, he had about 6, like he said a bunch of you-knows, and we're practicing, but right now, guess what? You're poking a bear. And Rivera right now, I'm sure he's firing that team up.
Harry, to me, Coach McCarthy told on himself. Yeah. Like, are they hearing the footsteps? Washington's footsteps? There's so much focus on Dallas. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I know now. And Ron Rivera just shined a spotlight on it. What do you think?
Well, I'll say in that moment, he understands how important this football game is. And he's trying to reiterate that to his football team. And
so Mike McCarthy is.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy. So I don't think he regretted what he said. I think he meant what he said because he knows that if they lose this football game, then they're only one game ahead of the Washington football team, and they play them again. And they have Arizona as well to play, who has the best record in football right now. So I think he's trying to get his team together. He hasn't been there in, about 10 days because he was in the COVID protocols. So he's trying to light a fire in his team and let them know. But I don't like the position that he put Dak Prescott in, because now he has to answer to the media and the rest of those guys. So if you can feel it, that don't mean you have to say it out loud, because now you're giving the Washington football team bulletin board material, or they put everything on the TV monitors.
The tablets. It's on their tablet. It's on their tablet. We used to have the clear paper, remember, with the projector?
Man, just put it right stick a thumbtack into that tablet, you're going to mess that tablet up, and it's not going to work anymore. Look, he's talking to his team. Like, that's a press conference, but he wants his team to hear that message. And the message, I think this was a calculated move by McCarthy. I think the message to his team is, let's remember who we are, right? It's been a little bit of a rough stretch for us. It's been a little uneven. Everybody's been in and out with COVID and injuries and whatnot. We got 5 games left, almost all division games. Let's be the bully that we're supposed to be in the NFC East. And I think that's the message he's trying to send by saying we should have confidence. We should feel like we're going to beat these guys. FPI gives us a 63% chance, and then 64 the next week. I think he just wants his team to feel like we're supposed to go out there.
I want to get back to the Ron Rivera quote. I'm sorry. McCarthy, to me, led with his chin. And Rivera's like, oh, okay, bop. It reminded me of McDermott and how he kind of led with his chin and let Belichick just, start talking about, well, I feel a little run down, right? Because McDermott was asked about it. He's like, oh, Belichick's not such a great I wouldn't talk to this is not a Belichick coaching thing. I did just as good. Look, if you look at it, right, it's really the players. And Belichick just sat back and took a kind of a subliminal pot shot. But here, Ron Rivera, this is a full frontal assault, is it not?
That's a guy who's a competitor, though. It's a guy who just beat cancer, so it's not going to be too many things that's going to defeat Ron Rivera.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it like that, he's a competitor. He wants the best for his football team, and he's just not going to let another head coach say that they're just going to come in and beat his team. He has to stand up for his team as well.
Also, very different kind of press conference, right? McDermott had just been beaten minutes earlier when he said what he said, and this is McCarthy setting a tone during the week. So a little bit of a different setup there in terms of.
A little salty. He was a little salty on it.
McDermott was salty, no doubt.
For sure.
Yeah. But I think that's a different kind of press conference, immediate post game versus Thursday morning.
Yeah, don't leave your chin out there for Ron Rivera. That's all I'm going to tell you. Coming up, it's a sneaky big weekend for two of the best. Will Patrick Mahomes fire up the Chiefs' offense against the Raiders, and will Tom